Ben Bando sitting in that number 5 spot. Tell you what, Ben started on the pole last week at Chicago, and he took the checkered flag home with him that night as well. Ben Bando sitting in 5th place, 5 points in back of Tony Bowling. And I'll tell you what, tight points battle going on here from top to bottom. Don Klein sitting in the 6th position down here, 69 points. He's only 3 points off of Ben Bando. So I'll tell you what, things are tightening up here, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're so tight in 7th place. We have Jerry Hinkle. He's up 2 spots. He's got 69 points. He's tied with Don Klein at this point, so he has no points to make up to catch Don Klein. And an 8th spot right now is going to be the number 7 of James Greegate. And James Greegate lost 6 positions as he missed the race last week. And tell you, James has got 68 points. He's only 1 point behind Don Klein and Jerry Hinkle.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, in 9th position down here, they call him the counselor, Joe DePino, 4 points in back at James Greegate. Joe DePino also going to come on strong here. And I'll tell you, in 10th position, Frank Jockman, he's entered into the top 10 up here, up 1 position from last week, guys. Frank Jockman, he and Joe DePino tied down at the bottom, 9th and 10th. So you look at those numbers up there, and I'll tell you what, there's only about 5 points total in all these guys. So it's anybody's game here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight. And I'll tell you what, checking over here in the chat room over here, I want to say good evening to Nicole Greegate. Nicole, welcome this evening to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And also, we're going to call them Dragon CO and Dragon XO. We all know who that is. That's going to be Mama Dragon. And, of course, David Bass. I guess what do we call him? Dragon Jr.? Anyway.
One of them's supposed to be in charge of getting the car keys, I think. JD's what I heard.
All right, I tell you what, always having fun with everybody in the chat room over there. And I tell you what, the countdown has started here, and I tell you again, the driver we're going to be watching for tonight is going to be Larry Mulliken. Larry Mulliken coming to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's been here numerous times before, but I tell you what, Tracy, he's got 4 top 5s here, and looking to be probably the biggest threat at Indianapolis here tonight. But I tell you, in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and we're going to take it on down trackside for you as the Cactus Cuties present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, and we are back live up here in the booth and sitting at the top of the pagoda here, Tracy. as we start to get gridded up here, I hear the motors firing up, and they're starting to move down onto pit road down there. Qualifying on the pole tonight, guys. Tony Bowling with a 50.10. Outside him in second position tonight, James Greegate.
And starting third tonight, the 22 of Frankie Zamano. Starting outside of him, the 27 of Larry Mulligan.
55 car Dwayne Hall, your points leader in the series tonight, starting on the inside in fifth. Outside him in sixth position is going to be the number 5, Roger Haygood.
And starting in seventh tonight, you got the RSN reporter, the 14 car of Jody Johnson, and starting in eighth, the 99 of Steve Spees.
And who's going to finish second? Hal Beardsworth starting on the inside in ninth position in that number 3 car. Outside him in 10th is going to be the 49 of Frank Jock.
And starting 11th, the 33 of Jerry Hinkle. Starting 12th will be the 28 of Howard Pittman.
Kevin Franks on the inside in 13th position, that 98 machine. Outside him, the 51 of Ben Bando.
And starting 15th will be the 52 of Don Klein. Starting 16th on the outside will be the 34 of Joe DePino.
17th on the inside, and that 17th car is going to be Lance Walker. Bryant Stewart, welcome to Race Sim Nation. He'll be starting 18th on the outside, Tracy.
Looks like we got a pretty good field out here today at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, JD. Tell you what, this is, like I said, to me it's a fun track. It's plenty wide enough to run 2 to 3 wide on the straightaways, even 4. But tell you what, it's still got plenty of room in the corners actually to get these guys running through there too wide. But you know what? The thing to know on this track is getting a good exit for them long straightaways.
Yeah, you got that right. And I'll tell you what, looking back through the records here, we've been here 7 times before, Tracy. Caution average running at about 4.1. We'll give it 4. And a couple of races, they had kind of excessive cautions. There was one race they had 8 cautions, I believe. But I'll tell you what, we know this bunch. We know what they're capable of doing. So I think we're going to have a pretty good night of racing here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We're looking at about 17, 18 laps on fuel. Tires is a no-brainer here at Indianapolis, Tracy. So, pit stops mean everything here at Indianapolis. One good reason why they mean everything is pit road. It is the longest pit road in NASCAR on any NASCAR track.
Yep, so your in lap and your out lap, it means a lot on this track to make up time. And we're going green, JD.
You bet. Tony Bowling's picking up the green flag. He's got James Greegate up on the outside of him. It's a drag race down the front stretch going into turn 1, guys. Frankie Samato, Larry Mulligan, and back. Larry Mulligan running 4th. We're keeping an eye on him tonight. 4 top 5s here at Indianapolis. Getting through turn 1 here. Everybody's 2 by 2 all the way back here to about Joe DePino as the 5 car of I can't see that who that is up on the outside, but 33 car Jerry Hinkle down here on the bottom. Roger Haygood in that 5 machine up there on top, 2 by 2 going down the backstretch.
Yeah, JD, tell you what, they're going to have a good amount of speed entering corner 3. Looks like James Greegate's holding on to that top position. He's got the 21 of Tony Bolin right on the back bumper. But we'll look for that 21 to take some of the draft, get right back into the back bumper, the 7, and maybe possibly try to go on the inside and take him in corner 1, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, crossing the start-finish line, taking the first lap is going to be James Greegate. And James Greegate, he's a possible threat here, Tracy. He hasn't been here very often, but the few times that he has been here, he's got a trophy from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That came back in December of 2010. So James Greegate, possible threat here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I tell you, JD, early on laps here, these guys are still on their qualifying tires. These cars are a little bit loose entering the corners and exiting, but that makes up for the fact this track will start getting pretty tight on you, and right around lap 7 or 8. So this track tightens up quite a bit. But I tell you what, these guys got to start be using this draft, trying to get by every car they can. Tell you what, it's pretty tough to make up distance sometimes on the track, JD, if your car starts to push.
You bet. I'll tell you what, I'm sitting back here in 16th position back here with Lance Walker, and he's about 5 seconds, about 5.2 seconds off the lead up here, guys. So significant significant setback here for Lance Walker. I'm not sure if he's just in some kind of a conservation mode here, or made some critical errors on the setup of that 17 machine here. But Lance Walker way off the pace back here, guys. And of course behind him, Brian Stewart. He started 18th here at Indianapolis. Brian Stewart, new driver here with RSN. So I'm sure Brian he's just looking to make his laps, get his time in, get the checker flag at the end of the race, and so that he's got comes out here in good graces with everybody.
Yeah, JD, tell you what, he's got to feel stuff out being new here at RSN, kind of see what kind of pace these guys put on. But it looks like Lance Walker may have just missed it on his setup a little bit, fading back there. I'm watching the 99 of Steve Spees. He's up behind the 28 of Howard Pittman trying to get that position. But if I look forward, I see Roger Haygood. He's trying to stay in front of Don Klein, and he's able to do it for the moment with Jerry Hinkle right in front of him. Jerry Hinkle is running in 9th position.
You got to keep an eye on that Don Klein up here. Roger Haygood now looking on the inside of Jerry Hinkle, going for the pass here, coming off of turn 4 down the front stretch, side by side, almost making contact there. And looks like Roger Haygood drag race right down to the start-finish line here. But Jerry Hinkle sticking it right to it, right up here on the top, going into turn 1 side by side. Tell you what, Roger Haygood's got the better of it down there on the bottom. Hinkle has to get out of the throttle. Here comes Hinkle, or Don Klein right up beside him.
Did tell you, JD, I was just watching the 3 of Hal Beardsworth and the 51 of Ben Bandel seem to be kind of working together here as they get around Jody Johnson, pushing him back to 8th position. Hal Beardsworth has moved up to 6th. Look for him and Ben Bandel to try to catch our front pack up there running together, JD, and see if they can't work on him as Ben Bandel's looking underneath the 3 of Hal Beardsworth. Tell you what, they're getting really close. Looks like Ben Bandel's going to get the position maybe on down the straightaway, JD.
Well, I tell you what, that was close. Hal Beardsworth giving the position up to Ben Bando. Ben Bando absolutely on the move here. Let's talk about Ben Bando here for a minute. He's in.
Sorry, JD, got in the middle, but okay. Jody Johnson just about lost it there in turn 1, got all the way down across the rumble strips and onto the grass, was able to save it, but lost a few positions.
All right, good catch on that one. Jody Johnson having early difficulty in that 14 machine, guys. Running for DB Tech Services as Jerry Hinkle or Frank Jockman in that 28, or Howard Pittman rather, gets past him up here in that 28 machine. But I'll go back to Ben Bando here for a minute, guys. Ben Bando, he's got the second most lead laps here in the Monday Night Series, 92 of them so far. Remember, this is early in the season, but James Greegate, he leads the pack with 96 so far. But I'll tell you what, Ben Bando winning at Chicago last week, trying to hook it up, put it together in Indianapolis here tonight.
Yeah, JD, John just had that replay as the Jody Johnson gets into the wall exiting 1. Tell you what, great save. He actually got loose entering the corner and was able to save that car, JD.
You bet. Johnson having early problems here. Scheduled for 70 laps at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 6 of them in the books already, and already in that 14 machine, Jody Johnson having trouble early. And I'll tell you, it may be due to early tire. Oh, he gets into the wall again, Tracy, coming through the short chute and coming off a turn, going into turn 4 here. Jody Johnson, that 14 car, in desperate need of a pit stop. I got a funny feeling it's probably those qualifying tires that are giving away on him here early.
Yeah, JD, just looks like that car is getting loose on them. And there's one thing, it seems like once you start having problems, I think you get them tires hot, they're kind of angry at you, and it just keeps it compounding there until you the run's over and you get some fresh tires, and pull out the fenders on these cars after you slap them against the wall like that, JD.
Yeah, you got that right. And looking forward here just a little bit, Joe DiPino and I think that's Howard Pittman up here in 11th and 12th position. Looks like Joe DiPino was putting a little bit of pressure on Pittman up here, guys, coming off of turn 4. I'll tell you what, early action here, 70 laps scheduled for the race tonight, guys, and I'll tell you what, some early action by some of these drivers already. Of course, position means everything here at Indianapolis, and you got to get it early. Tracy. There's the conditions of this track. You put a stock car out here, and I'll tell you what, positions come on the first couple of laps or in the pits, and with the counselor, Joe DePino, getting under Howard Pittman here, looking for a position.
Yeah, I tell you what, right now, Pittman's got the advantage as he's getting a draft off the 33 of Jerry Hinkle, but Joe DePino seems to be able to sniff a little bit of that draft as Howard Pittman really drives deep in that corner, but Joe's going to still get that position, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, that's an expert driving right there. Joe DePino getting off early, just letting his car slide right on in. Pittman having to get off the throttle real quick, probably tapped the brakes a couple of times, Tracy, as he drove in that thing in there deep. Couldn't get it down to the bottom to pinch DePino down, and DePino gets the better of it and moves up one. Yeah,
I tell you what, to move forward up here to 6th place, Ben Bando, he's just driven away from the 3 of Hal Beardworth. They were just together a couple laps ago. Hal's kind of fell back, and he's got Roger Haygood in the 5 car all over his back bumper trying to find a way around that 3 of Hal Beardworth, JD.
I'm looking up here, moving back up here towards the front. James Greegate, Tony Bowling. I'll tell you what, Tony Bowling, that 21 machine, he's staying right with James Greegate. And I'll tell you what, teammates here on Wednesday night, the Halls on Post, or the Halls on Post RSN Team Series. Well, I'm getting the 2 series mixed up here. But I'll tell you what, James Greegate and Tony Bowling, teammates up here, is the 27, Larry Mulliken. I'll tell you what, Larry Mulliken, that 27 machine, he's the one that we're looking out for tonight here, Tracy. 4 top 5 finishes. I believe 2nd place is his best at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So here comes that 27 machine of Larry Mulliken.
Oh, and it looked like they were bumping going down the backstretch here, JD. The 21 got in the side of the Larry Mulliken just a little bit. But I tell you what, the 21's going to have the advantage with the 55. Pushing the 21 to get by the 27 Larry Mulliken.
You bet. I'll tell you what, they're probably reading the same statistics that we were, Tracy, trying to keep that 27 machine of Larry Mulliken at bay. 10 laps in the books here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway already. Checking over here in the chat room one more time. Hey, Brian, I see you logged in here tonight. Good evening, my friend. Glad you're along for the ride tonight. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, stock car style. I'll tell you what, we got the best of the best right here, RaceMNation.com. Halls on Post, Monday Night Madness. James Greegate got the lead. Tony Bowling in second. But I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall sneaking up. Larry Mulliken, he's looking for something here tonight too. As Tony Bowling gets around James Greegate for the lead.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, what a pass. Got that run down that backstretch. Got off the corner a little early. Was able to get his nose under 7. James Greegate. James had nothing he could do but to let Tony go, get back in line without losing a lot of time and getting freight trained by the group. As Tony Bowling now just leads his first lead lap of the race.
Qualifying on the pole here tonight at Indianapolis. Tony Bowling, I'll tell you what, not a whole lot of statistics for Tony here. He's got I think a couple of top 5 finishes here. He's got a win here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But I'll tell you what, Tony Bowling, he could also be a threat here as well, just like James Greegate. But I'll tell you what, making that pass 10, 11 laps in, Tracy, that was horsepower and skill. Because I'll tell you, it's really hard to pass, when you get, Tony Bowling into the wall. James Greegate moving down the bottom here. Tony Bowling in trouble here on lap 12. Hard smack into the wall as Greegate comes alongside, heading down the front stretch, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, them guys are up there racing together. I think it's going to give Ben Bando a chance to catch up to him, guys, as he's been running them down, JD. He's down to 1.8 seconds behind this group. He actually gained almost 0.2 of a second in 1 lap. So they better be keeping an eye on the mirror. It looks like Tony Bowling's going straight to the back of that group, JD. And given, I told you, Ben Bando the chance to get to him, as he's really making up time on him now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it looks like Tony Bowling's in trouble here. He may be backing it off just to save what he's got left here. 13 laps in the books here. Green flag pit stops coming our way here just shortly. Should be about lap 17, 18 or so. So we'll keep an eye on that as they come to us. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and why don't we step away and take a break right here, right now. When we come back, we should be into Green Flag Pit Stop. You're watching live, ETV Live, the only choice cowboy, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness Series. Don't wander off. We'll be right back. You're watching ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting, the very best in the business, brings you the highest in broadcast quality and archived high-def replays for you to watch anytime for free. Superior audio, exclusive instant replays by the ETV E-Play machine. Producer John, the legend Westling, has talented commentators like the Cowboy, J.D. Webb, Tracy Flip Robinson, David Big Mouth Bass, Jesse the Outlaw James, Matthew the Race Car Kid Largan. And don't miss the ETV Live Band. The leader in sim broadcasting offers a free fan interactive custom live page with free race scanner, live stats, and be sure to chat with the broadcasters on the free live chat service. If you're looking for a quality broadcast team for your league event, contact ETV Live event coordinator J.D. Webb at etv-band.com or visit etv-eplay.net. Keep up with the ETV Live news and check out the ETV Live E-Plays. Hey, remember, ETV Live, the leader in sim broadcasting, it's the only choice, cowboy. All right, we are back live. I'll tell you what, just in time. We're getting scuttlebutt on the radio. Looks like Joe DePino, Larry Mulligan, Howard Pittman looking to make a pit stop here just shortly, talking to their crew chiefs, guys. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Green flag pit stops coming our way. 16 laps in the books here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Your leader, James Greegate, taking it over from Tony Bowling. Tony Bowling, early trouble, Tracy, back about lap 14 or so, hard into the wall, and that 21 machine now going absolutely backwards as Ben Bando gets around him here just a couple of laps ago. Ben Bando on the move. Checking Ben Bando's lap times, guys. He's about a second and a half faster than James Greegate, your leader out there. Ben Bando making up almost 3 seconds on the track here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in about 10 laps. So I'll tell you what, Tracy, Ben Bando's got it hooked up and moving forward.
Yeah, I tell you what, that crew got a great setup put up underneath him. He can drive that car hard through the corners, making up a lot of time. And tell you what, he just got around our 22 car, Frankie Simano, to take over that fourth position as Larry Mulligan is looking underneath Dwayne Hall, trying to get underneath him into corner one, JD, trying to move forward as he can, as he can see that 51 of Ben Bando right on his bumper as we go exiting corner three, and Larry Mulligan moves down and lets Ben Bando go.
But I'll tell you what, that's probably a good sign of tire wear taking effect here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Remember, they're only getting, they're still on their qualifying tires, and 17 laps in the books here, guys. We should be seeing guys coming in the pits now as we're getting signals. Tony Bowling on his way in, Howard Pittman, Stewart on his way in, bunch of them coming down pit road, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, we got a lot hitting pit road. We got looks like we got 5 cars. Tony Bowling, Larry Mulligan, they'll be all getting 4 tires and fuel. There's not going to be anybody who's ever going to stop in this track and take 2 tires unless we're on the end of a fuel of the race, like 5 laps or so, because the tires make a huge difference here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, you got that right. I'll tell you what, keeping an eye on the leaders up here, I think Tony Bowling's probably going to have a little bit of an extended pit stop. I think he's going to wind up losing some positions unless his crew chief opts to put the hammers away and just send him on his way. But tell you what, James Greegate, your leader coming into the pits, we're going to keep an eye on him. James Greegate up on the left, down on the right, and set to go gassed up, and he's leaving his pit box. He'll be the first one out of the house with, I believe that's going to be Frankie Samato in that 22 machine behind him. Dwayne Hall coming out third. Tony Bowling manages to hang on to position out here in 6th, Tracy. So Tony Bowling, hard hit into the wall up there. I got a funny feeling his crew just probably took a look at it and said, hey, you're okay. Get your butt out there and see if we can't hook it up, put it together. So Tony Bowling with a fast pit stop coming out of the pits in 6th, guys.
Yeah, I'm sure his pit crew looked at it and said it's quicker to make a small chassis adjustment than it was to jump over and repair the damage. So they probably made a little chassis adjustment for him to counter the effects he's feeling after flattening out his right rear corner and got him back on the truck as fast as they could. But I tell you, James Greegate is way out there in the front of these guys, of almost a little over a second, JD. But I tell you what, you got to keep an eye on the guys running the fuel mileage race out here. I've seen this race won by somebody being able to run around 21, probably about 22 laps on fuel, JD.
I'll tell you what, I'm sure these guys will be thinking about that. There's green flag pit stops underway. Frank Jockman in that 49 car making his way back out on the track. Frankie Samanto running up here behind James Greegate, guys. Frankie Samanto showing him in 15th place. I don't know that he's come down pit road yet. Or actually, no, he's, sorry about that. Timing was a little bit off. Frankie Samanto running in second place behind Greegate. There's Ben Bando running out of gas, we're hearing, guys. Ben Bando in trouble and has had to push his car behind the wall. Ben Bando winning at Chicago last week, guys. Possible threat here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The fastest lap times in the race, Tracy, and runs out of fuel, has to put it behind the wall. What an upset for that 51 machine.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is a track you can't run out of fuel. It's so large, JD, there's really no slopes to do any coasting on it. And tell you what, he just tried to push it that one extra lap, but you just can't make it on fuel. If you run a real fast car with a gear ratio like that, man, does it really drink the fuel up? My setups are always kind of conservative, more towards the fuel mileage race than with top speed, JD.
Yeah, but Tracy, these guys are actually pushing the throttle all the way to the floor, which when you race, you can't reach the floor, I don't think. Can you, JD?
Hey, they put blocks on my feet if I need them.
But Tracy, you're not getting it, son. That's why you get such great fuel mileage. You only run at half throttle.
I tell you what, fuel mileage means everything here at these big tracks. 2.5 miles here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Draft means everything here out here, guys. And I tell you what, talking about draft, James Greegate taking a dive towards the center of the track as he comes off of turn 4, trying to shake that 22 machine of Frankie Samanto a little bit. That ain't working, guys. Frankie Samanto is closing the distance on that number 7 machine up there in the lead. Samanto, he sneaks up on you, Tracy. He's a guy that quietly maintains his position, in the middle of the pack somewhere. You don't really have any, you don't really see him until it's too late, and suddenly he's in your rear view mirror. And I'll tell you what, Frankie Samanto running for DB Tech Services in that 22 machine, closing the distance on James Greegate.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, you get here for practice for a day when they're out there practicing. I tell you, Frankie Samanto is usually putting on lap after lap after lap, adjusting that car, learning how to drive it. And I tell you what, he's really improved a lot and is really putting the pressure on the 7 of James Greegate.
You bet. I'll tell you what, he just absolutely closed the distance up. Seems to lose it coming off the turns a little bit. He closes it up coming down the straightaways here. He's got what seems like about 400 miles worth of straightaway. But I'll tell you what, he closes it right up coming into turn 1, but doesn't look like he gets a good exit off the turn, Tracy. That seems to be where James Greegate is gaining on him here as he comes through the short chute down here, coming off of turn 2, and then heading down the backstretch and running right up there against the wall. Greegate takes a dive towards the grass, trying to shake the draft here a little bit. 22 car ain't having none of that, but let's move on back through the field, running in third position. About 1.8, almost 2 seconds off the pace here, guys. Dwayne Hall in that 55 machine. And then Larry Mulliken even back here just a little bit more, about 3.2 seconds back. Larry Mulliken in that 27 machine, Tracy. Biggest threat here tonight. He's probably got the most impressive record with Jay Bunn and Sean Brown, not at Indy tonight, with 4 top 5 finishes. So we'll keep an eye on Larry Mulliken. But, hey, let's talk about the 5th place runner tonight, 21 car, Tony Bowling. Tony Bowling started out on the pole early, trouble, contact with the wall, damage to that 21 machine, but looking to get it back, Tracy. Yeah,
I tell you what, if you look back in 6th, Don Klein has moved up to the 6th position. he can see those guys out there in front of him trying to make up the gap. And then you go back to 7th, and that's Roger Haygood. He lost quite a bit of time there in the pits. He could see him up there in front of him, but I tell you what, they're pretty small dots. But Roger Haygood having a good night tonight too, JD.
Yeah, you bet. I'll tell you what, pit stops coming back there about lap 16, 17, 18. I'll tell you what, that's got the field pretty much spread out here, guys. And Frank Jockman, I'm not quite sure what happened to him, but showing him a lap down. Of course, if the caution comes out and that dog gets out of the doghouse, it'll be a lucky one for Frank Jockman, being the first car, actually the only car, 1 lap down, so he'll be able to get that lap back. But with an average of we'll call it 4 cautions here, Tracy, 25 laps in the books already, less than 50 laps to go here, we may not see a caution flag, so Frank Jockman is going to have to depend on that throttle and horsepower to get him back up towards the front so he can get that lap back.
Yeah, I tell you what, like I said, the biggest loser in the pit lane, like I said, without a little bit of damage, is Tony Bolin, as he's right there with the 27, Larry Mulligan, not making a whole lot of time on Larry. And tell you what, him and Larry Mulligan are 3.3 seconds behind our leader, JD. A lot of time to make up in the pits. And tell you what, James Gregate's pit crew got to give him some ice cream bars or something for that stop.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, James Gregate's still your leader out there in front. Frankie Samato looking over his shoulder, but doesn't look like Frankie's been able to close the distance anymore now. He's about 8 or 10 cars behind James Gregate. So this might be a comfortable position for that 22 machine. Plenty of racing left here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Hey, taking one more look over here in the chat room. I want to say good evening to Rick Donathan. I'll tell you what, Noble Motorsports being represented tonight. Howdy, Rick. Nice to have you along for the ride tonight. And he just might be a broadcaster in training, guys.
I tell you, this race is looking pretty clean. Oh, Larry Mulligan he looks like he caught the apron just a little bit there, JD. Got a little loose in front of Tony Bolin. Tony Bolin was able to close that gap. And it looks like Larry Mulligan, Tony Bolin might be running down Dwayne Hall up there and maybe get around him here shortly.
But tell you what, maybe we can get, if we wander around the garage, let's see if we can send a runner down the garage and see if we can't get Ben Bando on the radio, Tracy, and see what happened to Ben, and at least take a check on him, see how he's doing, if he's calmed down here a little bit. But tell you what, Ben Bando running out of gas, having to push that thing back behind the wall. And I tell you, what an upset for that 51 car winning at Chicago last week, guys. And then coming to Indianapolis, hoping to maintain and move up in the points, but ain't going to happen tonight, guys. Also want to mention that Ben Bando, he's probably the biggest, he is the biggest points mover this week, 12 positions, guys. Sitting 5th in the overall with the Monday Night Halls on Post series, but upsetting deal tonight for that 51 car, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, he had the fastest car on the track. Very good chance of winning this race, JD. But tell you what, just a small error on his pit crew, and by not calling him in time to get fuel. Tell you what, a real hard way to finish your night, JD, just running out of fuel.
Yeah, you bet. Tell you what, let's talk about other news going on here at ETV Live. You want to catch a late race tomorrow night. Tell you what, we're hooked up with Noble Motorsports. What an outfit that is. You want to tune in at about 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Short track racing from Stanford Raceway in the late models, and you don't want to miss that. And, of course, in the house with us is Rick Donathan. He's sitting over there in the chat room. He's expressed an interest in possibly broadcasting, Tracy. So tell you what, rookie broadcaster, we're going to try to get him involved and maybe call some of these races with us and maybe give him a bicycle. Maybe he can use that old wore-out one that John used to use, and we'll put him up and down pit road here a little bit.
Yeah, this will be Tracy Robinson's first trainee, too. He gets to experiment on Rick. Poor guy.
Poor guy.
I was talking about Rick.
oh, yeah.
says it looks like somebody put Rick the Law.
Yeah, Rick Jonathan, he's a former policeman out there in, I believe it's North Carolina. Am I correct, Rick? You go ahead and say yes or no. I'll see it when you put it up there. But Rick Jonathan, former law enforcement officer out there.
Yeah,
you know what?
We got the right training wheels for him, JD, so he'll be all right.
You bet. You know what? And sometimes we do have guests in the booth with us on race night. So, dude, if you can figure out how to knock on the back door over here, hey, you're more than welcome to come on up here and join us for a little bit. But I'll tell you what, a little bit more about ETV Live. If you haven't seen the latest, you want to get over there and check it out. Last night, Tracy, Sunday night, we helped out another league who's been with us for some time, Simpro Racing. They called us up and say, hey, JD, we're in a bind. We need some help. Can you guys help us out? And we did. We jammed over there, John and I, and put together a broadcast for them in midget races. Now, I'm the biggest rookie when it comes to these sprint car midget races and everything. And I'll tell you what, we had an absolute blast. You want to check it out? It's over there at etv-eplay.net. And you can listen to the rookie calling a midget car race last night. I believe there was 8 races, 4 heat races, and a couple of qualifiers, A main, B main, and what have you. But I tell you what, we did have a blast, and it's all right there at etv-eplay.net, right along with all the rest of the broadcasts we've done here. So we get on over there and check it out.
Tell you what, guys, Larry Mulligan is putting a lot of pressure on Dwayne Hall. It looked like they almost had contact there, but it looked like everything came out clean. Now, JD, are we being politically correct by calling it a midget race?
You know what? I kept calling it sprint car races all night last night, and finally about halfway through I was warned. There was a couple of guys watching the broadcast, and they kept saying, hey, you need to tell JD that these are not sprint cars, these are midgets. So I guess there's a real deal out there. You got to call them what they are.
Would we call those size challenge sprint cars?
I guess. But I'll tell you what, learning something about those little cars is watching Larry Mulligan putting the pressure on Dwayne Hall up here going down the front stretch. Contact with the 55 and 27. It's like a big time block from that 55 machine, almost getting in. Actually, he did. He made contact with that 27 machine. I'll tell you what, I see a bump and run coming here just shortly from that 27 machine if Dwayne Hall keeps that business up. I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall desperately trying to hang on to that third place spot up there. Larry Mulligan looking on the inside, coming down the backstretch, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're working pretty hard. That was, like I said, a huge block. Dwayne went all the way down to the wall trying to block 27 Larry Mulligan and then chased him all the way back to the other wall, getting a little contact there. But now he's gotten past Dwayne Hall. Now Dwayne Hall's under pressure for the 21. I'm just glad Larry Mulligan doesn't use the theory that Tony Stewart has. If you're going to block me, I'm going to spin you.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I've seen Dwayne Hall in action out there, and once he gets a position, he wants to hang on to it, and he'll do what it takes to keep it. But I'll tell you what, looked like he was being threatened there for a minute by the 21 car, Tony Bowling. Tony Bowling, a pole sitter tonight here at Indianapolis, guys. Early problems at that 21 machine, contact with the wall a couple of times, and it looked like it was just minor damages. He's able to maintain out there a top 5 position here at Indy. So I'll tell you what, action happening out here on the track. But let's get back to that midget car race for just a minute. The one thing that I couldn't get over all night long. Had one of the guys in the booth with me helping me call the race last night. His name was Justin. He was telling me about these cars, Tracy. 600 horsepower out of a 4-cylinder motor. Believe that?
Oh, yeah, you get a lot of horsepower to them little tiny motors, JD. But I tell you what, they're running at that ragged edge just to the point of almost, just blowing a rod out of them. But I tell you what, them little cars really move heading around them tracks, and they tell you what, they seem to stick to the ground pretty good, too.
Yeah. You got that right. And I'll tell you what, having a blast over there last night and looking to help them out anytime they need it. But had some fun last night. But I just heard the back door squeak open and slam shut, and in walked David Bass. Hey, join the club tonight, my friend.
Get the pepper spray.
Get the pepper.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Yeah,
Hey,
guys,
why don't we get back to David Bass here in just a minute? We've got some green flag pit stops coming our way again. I've got the 21 car, Tony Bolin, making a stop down here, guys, along with the 52, Don Klein, 55 car, Dwayne Hall coming down pit road, Tracy.
Yeah, tell you what, those guys are doing a great job in the pit. Tell you, for you to watch 52, Don Klein made up a huge amount of ground. And tell you what, it's going to come out real close with these guys. And it's going to be a really good race off pit road here, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, pole sitter Tony Bowling up there, I saw the front, the left and the right go up and down, and he's out. He's going to beat everybody off. But I'll tell you what, Don Klein putting the pressure on coming out of the pits. He came out right behind Tony Bowling. Dwayne Hall came out third in that group. So back on the track they go. James Greegate, your leader, has not come down pit road yet, guys. 36 laps in the books here. In fact, he's on pit road now. Your leader, James Greegate, cycled around. He is on pit road. What green flag pit stops taking place here, guys? Frankie Samato come down pit road. He's in getting 4 tires of fuel and back out. 37 laps in the books here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, guys. So green flag pit stop taking place again, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, they're going to only need one more stop now. They made it exactly to the 50% mark of this race, right at lap 35. So that puts these guys in the window for one more stop, full tank of fuel, and hopefully there's no green-white checker because I don't think they're going to have enough fuel to do one of them at where they stop, JD.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what, let's get back to, we got a few people, I heard the back door open and close again. So, Ben Bando's in the house with us here in the booth with us tonight. And, of course, let's get back to David Bass. David Bass, I'll tell you what, in the booth with us, how you been, my friend?
Not bad, guys. Not bad at all. How's it going tonight?
I'll tell you what, it's been a pretty outstanding race so far. 37 laps in, no cautions, and they got a 4 caution average here, David, and nothing yet. So some fantastic racing going on out there.
Well, that's not surprising. These guys are the best in the business when it comes to this, and you've got 18 of the best drivers out there tonight putting on a show, and I am not at all surprised to hear that. It's good to see that they're being able to run that well.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, somebody else that was out there early in the race, Ben Bando, winning the race let's start out from the beginning. He actually got the pole at Chicago and took the checkered flag home with him with the big trophy. Ben Bando winning at Chicago, moved up 12 positions in the points, comes to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's laying down lap times, Tracy, that are faster than the leader, James Greegate, out there. And Ben, what happened?
Well, JD, I decided to qualify in the back. I didn't know what to expect from this track, and I made my way up to 6 rather easily there. It wasn't too hard, and I don't know if they were racing up there, but it seemed I was running them down, and by the time I ran them down, we came to pit stops, and I looked at my fuel gauge down the backstretch. I actually just looked at the laps left. It said 1, which normally means 2, so I figured, I'm going to wait and not pit with Dwayne and James and all them. Pit by myself, but I did not look at the exact gallons I had, and by the time I came off turn 2, she was out of fuel and I couldn't make it back around.
All right, I'll tell you what, that's really upsetting, and yeah, it's a long ways from turn 2 all the way back around to pit road, but man, that's unfortunate. It looked like you had her hooked up for sure tonight, Ben.
Yeah, thanks to Don Klein there. He helped me with the setup, and no clue, haven't raced this track in a year. I expected a little bit, cautions, but I don't think they've had one yet, so a big surprise. But setup was real fast, and who knows what could have happened if I could have survived. But my bad right there. Sorry to my teammates and everything, but we'll get her next time.
There you go, and there's always the next time, Ben. And I tell you what, you were certainly a threat out there, and better luck next time, I guess, is the way it goes. But Tracy, I heard the door open and close one more time back there. We do have to fix some squeaky hinges. In the house with us tonight, Rick Donathan. Rick joining us up here in the booth tonight. He hails from No Bull Motorsports, and Rick, welcome aboard, my friend.
Well, thank you very much, and ETV Live here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Great to be here, guys. Thanks for letting me join.
All right, I'll tell you what, Rick, you hail from Noble Motorsports over there, and I understand we've got a race tomorrow night over there, and you're going to join us in the booth for that one. Am I correct?
I am going to join in the booth and try to get my feet wet with this a little bit here and join you guys and have a little fun and watch the guys over there battle it out.
Does that mean I get to drive, JD?
To the race.
There's not a league in the country will let you drive, Tracy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick Donovan in the house with us tonight. Sometimes we have invited guests up here in the booth. Tonight we're up in the pagoda here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway watching the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness series here. And I'll tell you what, it's like the 21 machine kind of going backwards here a little bit as 55 it gets around him, Tracy. But James Gregate's still holding down the fort out there in front. He's got Frankie Samato still tagging along. But I'll tell you what, Don Klein, Dwayne Hall are probably the biggest threats out here right now as they get past Tony Bowling.
Tell you what, that 52 of Don Klein, if that's where the setup that Ben Bando had, I'm trying to figure out where Ben found the actual speed. But tell you what, Don Klein is doing a very good job, that 52, as he gains a little distance away from the 55 of Dwayne Hall. And it looks like that 52's got a great long run setup. But I just don't know if he has it to make up that distance for our next pit stop, JD.
You bet. As Roger Haygood moves around the 3-car of Hal Beardsworth for position, that'll put him up into 6th position. Hal Beardsworth kind of just maintaining his own down here in the Goodwrench number 3 car. But tell you what, Tracy, it's time to step back towards the buffet table and take a bite to eat back there. So why don't we go ahead and cut away. We'll take a commercial break right here, right now. You're watching live, ETV Live, Cowboy. It's the only choice. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Gorilla Customs manufactures cockpit simulation controls and performance computers that are innovative and at the highest level of design and application standard. They work hand in hand with professionals throughout real-world racing to provide technology and fabrication industry's highest level of unmatched quality. Made in the USA, people. Check them out today. Your place for your highest gaming simulation standard. www.gorillacustoms.com.
All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you what, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness Series, 44 laps in the book, scheduled for 70 tonight. And I'll tell you what, Tracy, Larry Mulliken in that 27 machine, running up there in the top 5 for the most part. And going backwards here, sitting back here in 13th position. And Tracy, I know you're busy with the monitors trying to look up some statistics here and see what happened to that 27 machine. But in the meantime, out here in front, it's still the James Gregate show. Frankie Samato kind of looking over his shoulder up here. Don Klein, Dwayne Hall hanging out in the top 5 all night long. Your pole sitter, Tony Bowling in that 21 machine, still up inside the top 5, but early problems with that 21 machine. And Tony hasn't been able to shake that 5th place position. So, but I understand we got some more information on Larry Mulliken.
Yeah, JD, I checked the cameras and also checked with the officials. Larry Mulliken was caught for speeding down pit road last time when he hit the pit stop, so he had to make a drive-through, JD.
Ooh, that hurts big time. But I'll tell you what, the luck be with that man tonight as he's still on the lead lap. That's something right there. You get penalized, come down pit road. Now, pit road here at Indianapolis, guys, I believe is the longest pit road on any NASCAR track. So it's a long ways down pit road. Park it in your booth, get held there for a few seconds, come back out in front of the leaders and still maintain that lead lap. I'll tell you what, Larry Mulliken's got it hooked up. Beardsworth hard in the wall. First caution probably coming out. Damage, heavy damage to that number 3 car, guys. I don't see
No, JD, it looks like it might have been a big warp by Hal Baird when he came back, nailed the outside wall, guys.
Yeah, I'm looking at some different angles here on his car. I don't know if that's damage that I see up here on the right-hand side of his car or not, but certainly set him back a few here. 42 seconds off the lead, that number 3 car. So Hal Beardworth having some major issues tonight, guys.
Yeah, it looked like that. He had that little moment of lag on him, and yeah, I tell you what, he did a great job though, keeping that car from spinning out after smacking that wall, going all the way down the grass. Good job keeping that car going straight. But yeah, Hal Beardworth has lots of damage on his right side. JD really slow him down.
But I'll tell you what, I guess the administrator's thinking twice about that one and did not bring the yellow flag out. So we're still green flag racing, guys. Tell you what, this one might go down in the record books for Race Sim Nation. They've been here 7 times before, running a caution average of about 4.1. We'll give it 4. And I'll tell you what, Hal Beardworth saving the day here, managed to hang on to that number 3 machine. But you know what, Larry Mulligan being held in the pits for that black flag, speeding down through pit road there, Tracy. You know, he's lucky to be able to get back out and stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, they just allowed him just to drive through pit lane. That's why he lost so much time. I mean, you look at that, he was up pretty close to the leaders, running around 4th. So you're looking at it, that took him 28 seconds to make his in and his out without ever stopping in pit lane just to do the drive-through, JD.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, still some racing left here to do. 48 laps in the books, guys, so 2.5 mile track. Hey, it takes about 50 seconds or so, a little better than 50 seconds to get around this place, so it's still a ton of laps left. We do have some green flag pit stops coming again. At least we hope they're going to be green flag pit stops. No cautions yet here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so I'll tell you what, if the caution doesn't come out, Tracy, to bunch these guys all back up again, it's going to be all about horsepower and fuel mileage, I think, here in order to be able to gain position.
Yeah, for the most part, all these guys have got to make it to lap 52, JD, just have enough fuel to finish this race. But you know how things are out there in the racing world. When you only have that little bit of fuel, your caution comes out and puts you in a green and white checkered, and you're going to see everybody probably had to stop to get a splash of fuel.
Yeah, you bet. And tell you what, let's get back over to David Bass here just a minute. David, Wednesday night series, team racing series, Dragon Motorsports. ETV Live has not been able to produce the broadcast over there. Of course, ETV Live, we've got kind of a different schedule going on here now. But Dragon Motorsports, how is the team doing, David?
Well, I got to tell you, JD, the team has been doing just absolutely fabulously over there. Doing a great job. Had a little bit of unfortunate things happen to some of the teams in front of us, and we find ourselves after the second race sitting actually on top of the point standings for the first time in team history. So we're doing well. We're really looking forward to the rest of the season.
I'll tell you what, that is some outstanding news. I know when Mama Dragon, Mother Bass, came aboard as a team owner, she gathered her little dragons up, and through a series of team meetings, they have just absolutely been hooked up and together. Putting them up and putting them down throughout the actually a couple of series now, a couple of seasons. So I tell you what, Dragon Motorsports coming on strong. Finally made it to the top, and good luck with that. Hope they're able to stay up there, David.
Well, we're certainly trying. We know we've got a couple of strong competitors in Halls on Post and Intimidator. They're going to be trying to run us down. So we know we got to keep on our toes and keep going. But it's definitely nice looking at this thing from the top of the point standings for a change.
You bet. And again, congratulations on what an effort by Dragon Motorsports. Back out here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 51 laps, 52, we'll call it, in the books. Here in less than 20 to go here, Tracy. James Greegate looking for the win here at Indianapolis. It'll be the second time for him. Trophy number 2 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Frankie Samato quietly hanging out back here in second position. He's about 0.3 of a second off James Greegate. Don Klein He's kind of hanging out here too. Well, we all know what Don Klein can do with one of these machines, and then of course Dwayne Hall. Dwayne Hall, he's got I think he's got a second place finish here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So Dwayne Hall looking to hang on to a top 5 position here. Pole sitter Tony Bowling running in 5th. Just has not been able to recover from that damage done early in the race, about lap 12 or so, Tracy. And he's hanging out here, just can't shake that 5th place position and get that 21 machine moved any far forward than where he's at. So pole sitter Tony Bowling just kind of mired here in the top 5.
Tell you what, JD, that setup that Don Klein shared with Ben Bando is starting to work because he closed up a lot of distance between James Greegate and Frankie Samanto. He's down to 9/10 of a second. Look to him to be to the back bumper, the 22. Frankie Samanto, by the time we hit that front straightaway, so if Don Klein can get a pit stop and go with the 7 and the 22 and stay right with them, watch out for that Don Klein. Very possibilities he might have taken the win. As we've got cars pitting, we have one car spun out in pit road, JD, as Don Klein heads down pit road. Looked like the 27 and Larry Mulligan possibly spun out in pit road.
All right, no caution, still green flag racing up here. We'll keep an eye on Larry Mulligan and find out what that was all about. But I'll tell you what, Frankie Samanto, he's staring at the back bumper of James Greegate up here. And, I've been watching Greegate and Samanto here for a while, guys, and still, I think Greegate's getting off these turns just a little bit better than Samanto is. Samanto gets a pretty good start into the turn, but just doesn't seem to hang as well as Greegate. Greegate, as he clears about the midpoint of that turn, comes off the turn real strong, gains a little bit on Samanto, and Samanto seems to have a little bit of difficulty coming off the turn. But I'll tell you what, Samanto, he's no slouch. He knows exactly what he needs to do up here. As James Greegate and Samanto, looks like they're heading down pit road, Tracy. Green flag pit stops coming our way one more time.
I'll tell you what, guys, the 21 of Tony Bowling also pitted with Don Klein. 21 got out in front of Don Klein there. And I think in the 21 only took 2 tires, JD. Oh, that could be really rough on him if he did, as this track is really tough on tires there, JD. And it looks like our leader down pit road as Don Klein and the 21 of Tony Bowling are coming through corner 3.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, James Greegate working his way all the way down. Of course, he started outside of Tony Bowling here tonight on the front row. James Greegate's car is in the pits. The right side comes up, it goes down, left side up and down, packing that baby as much fuel as they can get into it. James Greegate down and out. And I tell you what, Tony Bowling, 2-tire stop, guys. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. I don't know that 2-tire changes here at Indianapolis have been all that successful, Tracy, in the past.
Yeah, I don't think they are, JD, because they've got a lot of laps to put on these tires on this track. For them to try 2 tires, those left side tires, they probably don't show a lot of wear, but it does affect your car in a short amount of time. Not too sure if there's an adjustment in the car he can make to get those to work for him. As everybody looks like most people stop for pits, except for the 34, Joe DiPino. He's still out getting a lead lap, and Tony Bowling now will be our leader once everybody cycles around, JD.
But I'll tell you what, be anxious to find out how long Tony Bowling can stay up there in the lead. James Greegate about 1.7 seconds behind him now as Joe DiPino makes his way into his pit box. It'll be a 4-tire change for that 34 machine for sure. 28 machine, Howard Pittman on his way down pit road. The longest pit road in the NASCAR track, guys. And I'll tell you what, I know you're just, as a driver, you're just sweating it out, waiting for that thing to roll to a stop.
Wait a minute, JD. Now, I'm hearing something else in the chat room that Pocono has the longest pit road in NASCAR.
Well, that may be too, but I'll tell you what, I don't have the numbers right here in front of me. But yeah, you're probably right. Pocono does have one of the longer pit roads as well. But I'll tell you what, there's just something about Indianapolis, that narrow pit road coming down in between those 2 walls. It just seems like it's about 10 miles long. But out here in front, Tony Bowling, 2-tire change, Tracy, and we're going to keep an eye on that 21 machine. James Greegate, he's closing the distance, 1.2 seconds behind. But he's got Don Klein now running in third. Frankie Samanto right in behind. Looks like that number 3 machine. I want to say, guys, as Frankie Samanto was holding down the fort in second place as he gets past Hal Beardsworth up here, coming off of through the short chute through turn 3, heading into turn 4, guys.
Yeah, I tell you, it looks like Frankie had a hard time there in pit road as he's lost, looks like about 3 seconds on James Greegate, and they were pretty much nose to tail entering pit road. Not too sure what it was. It probably, like I said, your entry and exit of pit road that makes such a huge difference on this track. Look, if you take a look at Frankie Samanto losing right around 3 seconds to James Greegate.
Yeah, you bet. And tell you what, I'm just checking. I'm looking at some lap times here, guys. 51.195. Tony Bowling and James Greegate are actually running exactly the same lap time. So tell you what, Tony Bowling, if he can hang on out here, with a 2-tire change, I don't think he's going to be able to do that, Tracy. As James Greegate, he's slowly but surely closing the distance, but it's like hundreds, if not thousands of a seconds at a time per lap. But I'll tell you what, we'll keep an eye on that situation. Why don't we go ahead and take a breather from all this, step back to the buffet table, get another bite to eat back there. Rick, help yourself back there, my friend. Always lots of good eats up here on the buffet table. And I'll tell you what, we'll be right back. You're watching live ETV Live, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the All Post Monday Night Madness Series. Don't wander off. We'll be back. MTCO Communications, dude, I'll tell you what, the only place to get your gaming servers, no contract, month to month. Get gaming tonight with Battlefield 2. Hey, Call of Duty, do it with R-Factor, Arca Sim Racing, dude. I'll tell you what, $49 a month, no better deal anywhere. Remote access, virus filters, remote power cycle, no player limit, no bandwidth, dude. Dedicated servers, hey, do it tonight. Give them a call, 800-859-6826.
They hear us during commercial.
All right, we are back live. Yes, they can hear us during commercial. That's why we're on. That's a junior broadcaster there, guys. Well, hey, you know
My gosh, he's only been on the job for an hour and he already screwed up, guys. My gosh.
Hey, I'm just trying to get involved here. That's all.
Tracy, go back there on the demerit board and put one under his name.
That'll be in your permanent record.
Of course, permanent records don't mean shit around here, or crap, or stuff around here anyway.
Bleep, 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 bleep,
Beep, beep. This has been covered for censorship control.
Maybe I need to be the blinker then.
I'll tell you what, we may not be the best out there, Rick, but we damn sure have more fun than anybody else. I guarantee it. But hey, welcome back, race fans, and yes, that's Rick Donathan you're listening to, as James Greegate has taken over the lead, guys, and Tony Bowling slipping back into third. Don Klein in a 52 machine managed to get past him too while we were away at commercials. So James Greegate back to the front, guys. But and we'll get Rick straightened out. This is his first day on the. Actually, he's up here just on tour to kind of check it out up here in the booth and see what's going on. So as soon as testing his seat, it's that lever over there on the right side that makes it move up and down, and then.
Hey, you might want to, Rick. You might want to adjust that so your feet touch the ground. Don't be like Jerry Wolf. He's got all the way to the bottom. His feet still dangle in the air.
Well, I was just pushing on the buttons over here. What does this one right here do? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
That turns the heat off our buffet.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'll tell you what, check it back over to the chat room. He's been in there for a while, and I apologize. James, I see you in there, bud, and meant to say howdy to you over there. Of course, ETV Live, we got this live chat room going. One of the things that we do like to do is to interact. This is a total fan interaction ETV broadcasting outfit. So I'll tell you what, James, welcome along for the ride here tonight. Brian, I know you're in there too. And Flip, I know who that is. Jerry the bad boy, Jerry the corn dog. I see you're in there too. ETV Jerry in the chat room over there, and Chris Melton has decided to join the club too. Howdy, Chris.
He don't talk, JD. Chris Melton don't talk. He'll listen though.
Yeah, the last time I talked to him on TeamSpeak, he said, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" Fine. I tell you what, back out here on the track, it's absolutely James Gregate's show here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tony Bowling had it for a while early in the race. Early problems around lap 14, 12, 14. Tracy kind of put Tony Bowling back a couple of notches. It doesn't look like that two-tire change is working out for him as Don Klein gets into the wall, bounces off the track down onto the apron, guys, and decides to put it behind the wall. Don Klein, running up there in third place, is in trouble and out of the race, Tracy.
Yeah, not too sure what happened, but John maybe can tell us more about it.
Let's see if we can jam it up here on the old E-Play machine. Don running very good. He was in second place there, guys. I don't know if he got the warp bug or what. He slides way up on the track. Larry Moe goes under him. He plows outside wall, comes back down, and he's just going to pull that car and put it on the hauler.
All right, tell you what, Don Klein out of the race tonight. He's going to join Ben Bando at the bar. And tough night for that number 52 machine. So, Tracy, it's kind of odd, the 51 and the 52 out for the night as we get into the closing laps here. 5 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. James Gregate's got the lead. Dwayne Hall looking for it back here in the 55 machine, but he's 4 seconds back. Frankie Samato was staring over the shoulder. James Gregate there for a while, trying to close the distance, 4.9 seconds back. I think all he's going to be able to get is possibly second place away from Dwayne Hall. Tony Bowling with a 2-tire stop on that last go-around. Can't put it together, Tracy, and going backwards, and just can't get away from 4th, 5th position here.
I tell you what, Frankie Samato, though, is starting to put on a little pressure onto that 55 of Dwayne Hall here late in the race, looking to gain that spot on him. Tell you what, Frankie Samato doing a great job, looking to take over second position from Dwayne Hall, and he's got 3 laps to do it, JD.
You bet. I'll tell you what, I don't know if Gregate spotter's telling him to just kind of back it down here a couple of tenths, but I'll tell you what, plenty of breathing room between him and Dwayne Hall, so the battle's going to be back here for second, third place, guys. That's a no-brainer for that 21 machine. 4th place and still going backwards. Roger Haygood in 5th position, but he's 25 seconds off the lead, a good 19 seconds off of Tony Bowling, so no threat there. And I'll tell you what, the rest of it's going to be Steven Spieth, Lance Walker, Stewart back there, DePino. Really no battles going on the track, Tracy. The only one we got cooking up here possibly is going to be between Dwayne Hall and Frank Samato.
Looked like Dwayne got a couple good corners there. Gave himself a few car lengths between him and Frankie Samato. Gave him a little breathing room, JD. But they still got 2 laps to go to see if he can't make up that distance. Looks like, though, the 22, Dwayne Hall, starting to pull a little more distance on him.
You bet. As Dwayne Hall gaining distance on Frank Samato. No pressure from behind. Tony Bowling is still way off the mark, guys. That 2-tire change is just not going to work here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, Tony having early problems hitting the wall about lap 14 or so. And that kind of did him in for the night. I got a funny feeling because I haven't seen the crew bring out the ball-peen hammers and pound that sheet metal out on that 21 machine. But it's like 21, Tony Bowling trying desperately to hang on to what he's got right now. James Gregate, he's so far out there in front, it's just a cruise, Sunday night cruise for him, as he's 3.7 seconds out front. And tell you what, 2 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is absolutely going to be James Gregate's night.
Yeah, tell you what, guys, I'm back here watching the 5 of Roger Haygood was trying to stretch his fuel. I heard him clutching his car, going through the corners, heading down pit road on the last lap to get fuel, guys.
Well, we didn't plan that one right, did we? All right, and looking at the number 20 car of Bryant Stewart up here, guys. I'll tell you what, he's staring at the bumper of Lance Walker, trying to hook it up, put it together here. One more lap to go, guys. This is the white flag lap. It's out. It's flying. Is Bryant Stewart, new driver for Race Sim Nation here. He's running in 7th position. He'll get a top 10 here tonight, guys. But I'll tell you what, doesn't look like he's going to be much of a threat as he comes. Oh, Lance Walker into the wall. This is Stewart's chance right now. Doesn't take it as Walker cuts him off coming out of 4. And I'll tell you what, coming around for the last time here, James Greegate closing distance on that start-finish line, coming through the short chute. This will be the last time around, guys. James Greegate heading for that checkered flag. Dwayne Hall in 2nd back here. No threat from Samato anymore. Tony Bowling, hey, he's way off the mark running in 4th. Steven Spiess in 5th. So I'll tell you what, the night belongs to James Greegate crossing the start-finish line. He'll take the big one home tonight. Well, Dwayne Hall will take 2nd place. Frankie Samato claiming 3rd.
Caution-free race, guys, tonight. Made this race go by lickety-split, and what a great job these guys did. Keeping these cars pretty much from, even we've had a few get in the wall, get the grass, but nobody lost control. Kept them going, and tell you what, Indianapolis, 170 laps, no cautions.
I'll tell you what, these boys can absolutely put it together and do it like pros. And I'll tell you, this Monday night series, along with the Wednesday night series, team racing series, hey, man, if you want to strap one of these babies on and come out here and play with these guys, play with the best, do it over at RaceRationNation.com. Get signed up over there and get after it. But I'll tell you, coming away from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, doing it RSN style, guys, no cautions here at Indy. Of course, they've done that before a few times. Been here 7 times. This is the 8th race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you what, these guys know how to hook it up and put it together. But what a finish for James Greegate. That'll be his 2nd win in the books here with RaceNation.net at Indianapolis as he gets rolling down here to the start-finish line. And we'll kind of hang with him here for a little bit and watch as he burns what's left of his rear tires off of that number 7 Halls on Post machine, Tracy.
I tell you what, James Greegate, great job. Led 63 laps out of them 70 laps. Pretty much dominated this race tonight. Great job by James Greegate.
But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and as James burns those tires off, we're going to go ahead and step away and take a commercial break right here, right now, and get ready for the Halls on Post post-race show. So, hey, Cowboy, you're watching the live ETV Live, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness series. We'll be right back. Oh there, Cowboy. Ain't no need to get the hammers out and tear it all up. What you need to do is get a hold of David Bass, DB Tech Services. Technology support offered at a price affordable to most churches, not-for-profits, and individual customers. I'll tell you what, David Bass, IT specialist, over 5 years at the corporate level. Hey, man, computer maintenance, hardware and software upgrades. I'll tell you what, David Bass DB Tech Services, established specifically to provide lower-cost options to churches and non-profit organizations. So put the hammer away, dude. Get a hold of David Bass. DB Tech Services, dbtechservice.com. All right, and we are back. The Halls on Post post-race show here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you what, James Greegate taking the big trophy home tonight. He's done that once before here, James. And I'll tell you, you absolutely had it hooked up. You started outside the pole. Tony Bowling, your teammate tonight. Looked like Tony and you pretty much had it down pat. Tony having a little bit of a difficulty with the wall tonight. But you were able to take it away and just pretty much run off with it.
Yeah, thanks, JD. I can't say enough about the Halls on Post team overall. Tony, obviously it was a great run for him for the start of it. Unfortunately, that darn wall just doesn't like to give up very much, and when he got into it, unfortunately, it kind of screwed up the rest of his night, but he fought back, finished 4th, so that was a good run overall by him. And, basically to have Dwayne finish 2nd, for us to come home in 1st, it's a great night overall for our team.
All right, and we are back. The Halls on Post post-race show here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I'll tell you what, James Greegate taking the big trophy home tonight. He's done that once before here, James. And I'll tell you, you absolutely had it hooked up. You started outside the pole. Tony Bowling, your teammate tonight. Looked like Tony and you pretty much had it down pat. Tony having a little bit of a difficulty with the wall tonight. But you were able to take it away and just pretty much run off with it.
Yeah, thanks, JD. I can't say enough about the Halls on Post team overall. Tony, obviously it was a great run for him for the start of it. Unfortunately, that darn wall just doesn't like to give up very much, and when he got into it, unfortunately, it kind of screwed up the rest of his night, but he fought back, finished 4th, so that was a
You bet. I'll tell you what, looking through the stats, hooking up, locating the people to watch. You've only been here a couple of times. I mean, you're duking it out with guys like Larry Mulliken, 4 top 5 finishes here, guy. Jerry Hinkle, he's got 4 top 10s. Dwayne Hall, he was a threat here, too, with some pretty decent finishes. But how do you manage it at a big track like this, James?
Well, the very first time I was at this track, I ran a lot of practice laps and actually had a great battle with Chris Wilson. Me and him duked it out like crazy. I ended up coming out on the positive side of that battle that night as well. But you just go through and you kind of get used to running the tracks. And I was fortunate enough tonight to kind of come out and get minimal practice in, but at least get enough to get comfortable with the car. And basically as the race progressed, just kind of kept getting more and more comfortable and just basically try to be smooth and smart the entire night. I know if you get a little bit of damage on this track, basically you're done for the night. It's really hard to keep up if you get any damage. And just try to be smart, no speeding on pit road, no spinning out coming on or off, and just be patient.
I'll tell you what, and you're absolutely the master at it. And congratulations again, taking the big trophy home here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Any shout-outs out there you want to give?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to give a quick shout out to Angela Hall. Hall's on Post Accounting and Tax Services. Tax season is here. Everyone's getting our W-2s here in the next week or two. File them early. Get your returns back early. Go to Hall's on Post. She's by far the most qualified, way better than any of the online stuff, Jackson Hewitt, TurboTax, any of those guys. So go to Angela Hall and hallsonpost.com. I'd also like to thank my teammates again, Dwayne Hall and Tony Bowling, as well as I'd like to thank my wife, Nicole, for always hanging out, having fun, and being so supportive.
You bet. And again, congratulations on the run here tonight. James Grigate taking the big trophy and a paycheck home from Indianapolis Motor Speedway tonight. I'm going to throw it on down pit road just a little tiny bit. Flip Robinson hanging out with Dwayne Hall down there, second place.
Yeah, I'm over here hanging out at Dwayne Hall's hauler, talking to him. Great job, Dwayne, tonight for getting second place.
Yeah, it was a good run. I mean, I had what I had. I felt like I was sleeping coming off pit road on those green flag pit stops. It was like the caution was I was lollygagging coming off pit road. That was costing me every time.
Yeah, I tell you what, them long pit roads, it's really tough to get in and out of them. You think you got plenty of time to make a good hard run at that entrance, but it comes up on you quickly. But tell you what, you had a lot of challengers there tonight. You and, I'm trying to remember who that was. You and Mulliken were really duking it out there early.
Yeah, we were playing some. I had to quit that. We touched a couple times and almost got us in trouble.
Yeah, we saw that. It almost caused both of you. But great job, Dwayne. Finishing second. Does anybody like to thank tonight?
Yeah, my wife, Angela Hall, like James said, hallsonpost.com. It's tax time. She's a rolling and got a crew working for her, so she can get done just as fast as anybody else can, and definitely a whole lot cheaper. I can promise you that. So hallsonpost.com. My wife Angela, my teammates James, Tony. They're good at this track. They know how to draft. They know how to position themselves to help you as a teammate to get by people, and you need that here. And you guys for the broadcast, they're cool.
All right, guys, that's your second place finisher tonight. Trackmaster 55, Dwayne Hall, and I guess I'm gonna throw it over to John, as he got Frankie Samato come up to where he's at.
I sure have. Caught that 22 of Frank Samato, ran in second place most of the race, and ended up back here in third place. Frankie Samato, a great run out there tonight. Just didn't seem like he had enough horsepower through the corners to close up on James Grigate tonight. You had plenty of it down the straightaways, but just couldn't quite seem to get off the corners as good as James was tonight.
Yeah, I was taking care of the equipment there, waiting for the last bit of the run. And, of course, I had some mental fatigue there, and my results showed it.
I think J.D. Webb calls that a brain fart, Frankie. Great job with that DB Tech Services number 22 tonight. I think something is happening to your owners tonight, though. Either they've tipped the bottle just a little bit too much with this XO and CO thing. Maybe you could fill us in on that, Frankie.
XOCO, you know what? I really don't know what that is.
You must have missed that memo, evidently, just like I did. But anyhow, great job finishing third place tonight, and just great car out there tonight, all night long. It seemed like only guy that I've seen could keep up with James Grigate most of the night. Anybody out there you want to give a shout out to before we throw you out of here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the sponsors: Dragon Motorsports, Family Food Centers, Kitchen, Kircher's Hardware, and my teammate over in Dragon Motorsports. They're all great guys and makes this fun.
Well, there you have it, race fans. The third place finisher tonight in the Halls on Post All-Pro Series. I believe that's what it's called now, guys. JD, I'll throw it back up to you.
All right, I'll tell you what, you bet Frankie Samato, runner for Dragon Motorsports over there, had David Bass in the booth over there. Former owner for Dragon Motorsports. Of course, I believe he's still doing some consulting for the team over there. But latest news coming out of RSN, Dragon Motorsports moved them up to the top, guys. So pretty good action over there on the Wednesday nights in the team series. But Tracy, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, one more time. These guys get it hooked up. This is race number 8 here for RSN. No cautions.
Yeah, great job. Indianapolis, no cautions. Didn't see anybody get that dreaded loose exiting corners. Everybody seemed to be able to keep that rear end underneath them and getting around the track nice and clean. Tell you what, we had some good racing going on all night for the lead. Tell you what, Ben Bando made a run at him there in that first fuel run until he ran out of fuel. And tell you what, the guys did a great job just keeping the cars going and putting on some good racing show for everybody.
You bet. And then, of course, Tony Bowling having that difficulty. Looked like he might have been the one to beat tonight. Certainly was going to be a duel between that number 7 car and that 21 car, but Tony having issues with the wall. That kind of sent him back a little bit in that 2-tire change. But I'll tell you what, partner, ETV Live, that's where it's at. And tomorrow night at 11 p.m., some late-night action coming out of No Bull Motorsports. You want to catch that one, dude? Rick Donathan going to join us in the booth here tomorrow night. That's a late-night race at Stafford, some late-model action, short-track stuff. So hang out and watch that one with us. And on Friday night, you want to miss the B-Class Showdown. I'll tell you what, some outstanding racing been happening here on Friday nights on ETV Live. That's going to be at about 9:30 p.m. And you want to catch out on ETV Live. We'll be at Milwaukee, I believe, on Friday night. And then Saturday night, the 21st, you want to miss the VSR Harold Lowry Super Speedway Series. And I'll tell you what, that is just absolutely a blast. We've been doing it for quite a few Saturdays with them now. Got hooked up again. I believe they're going to get their schedule situated for the March series too. So Saturday night Super Speedway action coming out of VSR. That happens at 9:00 p.m. here, right here on ETV Live. But Tracy, before we get out of here, there's a few people that we need to thank along the way. Oh, that's all right. I'll cover it for you. True.
Go ahead, get it.
Hey, you know what? I know that file cabinet kind of sticks back there. I couldn't get it open earlier too, and I probably should have left it open. So that's my fault. But I'll tell you what, I'll take it for you. True Gravity Arts Design. They designed the RSN website, and I'll tell you what, Sean Bickle, he's a Class A website designer. So get over there and visit with him. True Gravity Arts Design. Halls on Post. They sponsor the Halls on Post Monday Night Madness Pro Series and the ETV Live chat room and the post race show here at RaceSimNation.net. And of course, DB Tech Services, and get a hold of David Bass. You've got some computer issues, network issues. DB Tech Services and David Bass, ARCA League Manager. They handle the series points for the RaceSimNation.net. Of course, the Sim Factory. I always like to thank those guys over there at the Sim Factory. They're the ones that produce the ARCA Sim Racing game, so that you guys can come out here and play. And then I'll tell you what, the nation itself, RaceSimNation.net. And like I said earlier, you want to strap one of these babies on, come over here and play with these boys, you're going to be doing it right here at RaceSimNation.net. Jody Johnson, the ETV Live journalist for the RSN Weekly Race Headlines, does an outstanding job over there. And I'll tell you what, ETV Live executive producer John Westling, thank you to Dwayne Hall, trackmaster, for reworking the tracks here at the nation and making them really raceable and fun to watch. And of course, my co-host here, Tracy Flip Robinson. And you know what? We've been having a lot of fun up here in the booth, and it's been a pretty good couple of seasons. So, and then of course, not to leave these guys out, but if it wasn't for the drivers, Tracy, we wouldn't have nothing to do up here in the booth after all. But thanks to all the drivers for some fantastic racing. So I'll tell you what, you want to watch this one again, get on over to etv-eplay.net. That's where it'll be here in a couple of hours. And check out the rest of the broadcast over there. For the crew here in the booth and Rick Donathan, too, hey, this is Cowboy J.D. Webb from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.